That's because these court-ordered parenting applications are social media.
Wait a second. So you're saying they're mandating us to pay a lot of money for these little apps online, but it's social media? Welcome to the Stand with Meg show. I'm your host, Meg, and I'm here with Shawn Lee from the Shawn Lee Report. We are so excited to have you.
Hello.
Shawn, what are we going to be learning about today?
Today we're going to learn about family court social media.
Oh, that's a big topic. Oh my goodness. Well, let's dive in.
Okay. All right. Meg, I want to do what we call a demonstrative exhibit. I want to demonstrate
exhibit.
I want to demonstrate social media and technology and the impact it has. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you a text message. Okay. Just like we are interacting through a parent portal. Okay.
Okay. So you're dad, I'm mom.
Yeah. And I want you to read it, but don't comment. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sent you a text message.
Oh, darn it. I hate these things. All right. Check this. Megan.
Don't read it. Don't read it.
Meg, you dirty, rotten scoundrel. We should turn your chickens into fried chicken with gravy and the eggs into omelets for the first fraud conference. Are you jealous of my chickens?
Okay. So look at this text message. I'm calling you a scoundrel and I'm threatening your chickens. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. I want to eat your chickens. And
I actually had a neighbor do that once. They said, if you don't move your chicken, we're going to have chicken soup for dinner.
Okay. Now I want you to imagine that a lawyer and a guardian, two lawyers and a guardian ad litem and a therapist and a psychologist read that and what the bill would be.
Oh, you're good point.
Okay. Here we are in person. And if I tell you, I think you're a scoundrel and I want to eat your chickens, we laugh because we're two human beings.
Right.
But if that went through a court report, then it would be $1,000 message.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody would, number one, bill to read it.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, bill to talk to each other about what they read, all of which would be wires. Wire number one was the message I sent.
Okay.
Wire number two was the message being transmitted to the attorneys, GALs, therapists, and psychologists. Wire number three is the attorneys, GALs, therapists, psychologists communicating with each other about the first wire.
Wow.
Now let's go back to our definitions. 18 USC 1346 and 18 USC 1349. Okay? Scheme and artifice to defraud. It's a very broad definition.
It is.
It just leaves so much open to interpretation. Okay? How does this benefit co-parents?
Right.
It doesn't.
Right.
It makes a bunch of people a bunch of money. And that's where we're going today. Okay.
Can I read what it says? For the purpose of this, the term scheme or artifice to defraud includes a scheme or an artifice. What does artifice mean?
It's artificial.
Fake. A scheme or fake. Okay, now we know what that means, people.
Yeah.
To defraud includes a scheme or artifice to deprive another of the intangible right of honest services.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you have a scheme where the purpose of the scheme is to draw you deeper and deeper into debt, that is a scheme. You're trying to purchase honest services and you're not getting them.
Wow. So all of these people that have gone completely bankrupt, gone, this would be classified as that.
Potentially, if anybody were to ask me.
Well, it depends. Yes, yeah. Right.
Let's say I ran for attorney general. My plan might be to go after some of these schemes and artifices to defraud. And I think that's the conversation we need to have nationwide right now is, should people have their entire lives destroyed just because they went to family court?
Okay.
Now, let's talk about social media. What do you think social media is?
To me, it's communication between people. It's like, to me, it's like almost keeping up with what's going on.
Yeah.
Social media, it's a noun, forms of electronic communication, such as websites for social networking and microblogging, through which users create online communities to share information, ideas, and personal messages and other content, such as videos. Examples. Oh, what was this? That's cool. I've never even thought of what is social media.
Webster's Dictionary.
Council member Mike Klein also weighed in on his social media. That is so cool. I love that.
Now let me ask you a question. I want your opinion.
Okay.
Do you think a court-ordered parenting portal is a form of social media?
Well, if it's no.
Look at the definition.
But it's not a community. It's not or networking. Okay. But it's not on. It's online. Okay. Communities to share information, ideas, messages, and other content. Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
But it's not live. Only the people that you okay to come in can see it.
Do you see anywhere in there where it says private?
No, that's
It's not in the definition.
Mm-mm.
That's because these court-ordered parenting applications are social media.
Wait a second. So you're saying they're mandating us to pay a lot of money for these little apps online, but it's social media?
What can you do with these apps? You can post photos, post videos, make calls, have videos, send messages, comment on all of the above, send bills, and you can do it all virtually with a bunch of people you may never even see in real life.
So that's social media. Isn't that internet though?
That's social media. These are social media companies.
Okay.
You are being ordered to pay companies that will admit that they are social media.
Oh my gosh, that just blew. Where's my little ching ching? Where's our light? Anyone have a lamp we can have that can like pull down so that goes off? Because that is another one.
Okay.
Oh my man.
Let's go into some of this. I printed off the documentation for the most popular companies here locally. One are the terms for professionals for Our Family Wizard. Will you take a look at that for me?
The terms for professionals.
Yeah.
Our Family Wizard website, site says, and mobile application, app, together. Software and operated by Our Family Wizard. We, us, or our.
That's the legal professionals contract. The attorneys have a different contract than users. Now, let me show you a couple of key provisions there. Services, fees, and agreements. A professional account can purchase coupons to give to their clients. If you are a professional, you can move people onto these apps so that you can bill more money, and you can pay the company for coupons to get people onto the social media company. It's right here in the terms.
I'm going to take this thing down.
Yeah, it's right here in the terms. They admit it, okay? You may purchase parent account coupons in volume from us at a discount to the parent account subscription prices. So the attorneys are paying the company that the judge is ordering you to use.
Wow. Not to mention it's like $100 a year.
Now, let's go into the next portion. They're all using artificial intelligence.
They are.
This is their artificial intelligence disclaimer.
Don't they scan what you're saying? I haven't been on one for 2 years now, or a year now, because my kids are taken, but I used to be on all the time. So they're because they scan what you say, and they usually tell you if it's mean or not.
Yeah, they are using, and this is how you get flagged as high conflict, is by the artificial intelligence.
You know, you just opened my mind up to the data this company has.
Yeah. And you have to buy more data. A family generates an enormous amount of data. And historically, that data was free. We met in person. In certain circumstances where there was a risk situation, a legitimate physical safety risk, people would meet at the police department under the cameras of the police department.
Right. And my ex and I, we before this all came out, we had like our own emails just to about the kids. So
Yeah.
it was just mine and his, and that's we communicated just through that.
And it was free.
Right.
Now you got to buy their data. Now you're being ordered by a judge to buy their data. And remember, the Luzerne County Court, the judge had a financial relationship with the company that he was ordering
Children to go to.
paying by. Okay. Now look at this. This is a message I came into possession of. Look what the AI did.
OFW, which is One Family Wizard, is a flawed and dangerous social media application that drives up division and artificially inflates legal fees and vitriol. What is that?
Vitriol.
Vitriol? What is that?
Vitriol is just, hate, division, anger. I mean, the text I sent you, somebody could look at that who doesn't know us, didn't see our interaction, and think, well, my gosh, he's calling her a scoundrel and threatening to eat her chickens. But we're in the studio, we're laughing.
Right.
OFW
flags it as negative.
And family court professionals can flag it as negative.
Right.
Well, look what it did to that message.
Negative.
The artificial intelligence flags any criticism of itself. So if you criticize these apps,
you're making me really angry.
These apps will label you as high conflict. And once you are labeled as high conflict, you are the problem.
Bing, 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 money, money, money.
Once you start to call attention to fraud, you are labeled as high conflict by a robot and a company with a financial conflict of interest.
And did you guys know that One Family Wizard actually sponsors at the AFCC? They have ads in there. They sponsor it to make all the attorneys and judges and therapists meet together. They're a part of it.
Yes. And they're all wires. 100% bottom to top wires. You'll never get a piece of paper from this company. Okay?
Which this kind of blows my mind because we get in trouble. We can't put anything on social media. Well, I guess we are. We can't put anything on Facebook or anything, but yet we're putting it on social media already. Right. So technically, it says that you can't put anything on social media, but we are putting it on social media.
Let me show you something, okay? See this?
Welcome to the profession, spring 2026. Congratulations to the 70 individuals who passed the February 2026 bar exam in Missouri and have completed all other requirements under Rule 8 for admissions in the Missouri bar.
All of those names on that list have yet to be poisoned.
That's an idea.
All those people are fresh lawyers. And what you can do for a relative pittance, some of these family court cases are into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. You go find one of these people fresh from law school. You say, here's the fraud that I think is going on. You give them a few $1,000s, which will probably cover their apartment for the next 3 months. And they go and put together something brilliant. Because that's what we do at law schools. We try and teach people to be brilliant and to take on blatant problems in our judicial system.
Not to mention convincing these new attorneys to come in and giving them a lot more clients and all of a sudden pushing out the old ones that are abusing the system.
Right. That's historically how it works is the newer generation comes in, and if there's people who are abusing the system, the new generation takes their client base, drives them out. People who are fed up with the system as it is can hire fresh lawyers with fresh bar licenses, with a fresh point of view, some of them victims of the fraudulent system themselves.
You blow my mind. This is amazing.
Okay. Look, I've got talking parents here too. I want you to look at how thick these are. Okay? Do these look like thin waivers and terms and agreements and fees for these two social media companies?
No.
No, these are thick. Why? Because people are being injured. And they want to limit their liability.
I'm going to have to read that. Because could we report on them?
So, yeah. Absolutely. I showed you the case involving Judges Ciavarella and Conahan.
Right.
Those were companies, Pennsylvania Child Care LLC. Those were companies that those lawyers and those judges had relationships with. Follow the money. You've got an order from a court ordering parents to use these companies. And now you have terms and agreements showing that the lawyers are paying these companies for their services. And you've got national conventions sponsored by these companies.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got thousands upon thousands upon thousands of victims saying, we are the victims of fraud. And they're social media companies.
So I need to put on our survey if you're mandated to talk through Family Wizard, right? Because that data
portal,
a parenting portal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to update our survey to show that, because then we can see how many parents in each state have to use the social media portal. And then we can show that would be great for the states to see and for
Absolutely.
the FBI to see. So I'm going to update the survey. So that all you have to do is go back into the survey and you're just going to click update my survey and you're going to go to that question and answer it. And then I'm also probably going to put an option what it is. Or maybe, I don't know, I'm just trying to think. But yes, so please go update your survey right now and go and tell us if the court has mandated you use an app or a social media company.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, here's why we know those apps are dangerous, okay? This is the jury verdict form for State of New Mexico versus Meta.
Which we know what Meta is, Facebook, Instagram.
The New Mexico Department of Justice filed suit against Meta for injuries to children. Now, this is the flagship social media company. Okay, look at how thick the complaint is.
Wow.
This is the complaint that was filed by the New Mexico Department of Justice and their attorney general against this social media company.
This was just this March.
It is 224 pages long.
So it's still in. They're suing them.
No, that's the jury verdict.
Oh, this is the jury verdict?
This is the jury verdict. So look here. They got found liable for 37,500 willful violations of the Unfair or Deceptive Trade Practices Act.
37, not money, 37 violations.
37,500 violations. And each violation had a potential value of between $0 and $5,000. And they awarded all 37,500 violations with the maximum fine allowed, $5,000 per.
Holy moly.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Whatever that is.
Do you know what this proves?
What?
All these victims of family court may be able to go after these social media companies for what they've done. And
so what you're saying is people can go and tell your law enforcement, because this was
that's the Department of Justice for New Mexico
went after them after seeing all of the stuff they're doing.
The families, the victims, complained so much to law enforcement and to the Attorney General's office that the Attorney General's office filed a landmark complaint seeking to hold them liable for the injuries to children. And they did. They successfully did it.
Wow, this is so cool.
And so if you are a victim anywhere in the country and your life was absolutely turned upside down by lawyers with inappropriate financial lawyers or judges or therapists or psychologists with inappropriate financial relationships with a social media company, you could potentially win big.
This is pretty cool. Can people find this on your own? Can we put this up there?
I'm providing that to you. I'll give you all of my research. This is in our fraud research file.
Because this is really cool to look at.
The thing about social media companies is that they're not confronted with the damage they cause. Okay. Right.
Right.
These companies that are running these apps, they advertise that they're helping families, that they're cutting down on division. There's no evidence of that.
Right.
There's zero evidence of that. And so in this particular circumstance, the Attorney General filed this complaint.
Mm-hmm.
Meta fought it all the way to trial. Said, look, we didn't do any of this. We're not liable.
We're not liable.
We're not doing anything wrong. And a jury came back and said, yes, you are. You're doing exactly what the Attorney General's office accused you of doing, and we're going to hold you liable for it.
So who got the money? Did everyone that complained that they did this too?
They still haven't got the money yet because Meta has tried to appeal it all the way to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court rejected it.
What is that on my phone? What is 37,500 times 5,000?
Oh, gosh.
Get your phone out. Your phone's right there. Oh, there you go. I have an iPad.
Make me math. That is $187.5 million. With interest.
With interest?
It's accruing
and
interest.
And who gets the money?
Well, it'd be disseminated to the victims.
That filed the report. Okay, for violations.
Some of these kids killed themselves.
Yeah.
They destroyed their entire lives. So that's the trend in the law right now, is you have companies standing up portals, and what they basically do is say, look, we can't be held liable for what you do with our portal. We offer a portal. We market our portal. We advertise our portal. We sponsor, conferences, and we allow people with vested financial interests to get our portal and pay for our portal.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not responsible for what you do with our portal system.
So change us into the fact that we're mandated to use these family portals.
And they're basically brand new companies. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't exist that long ago.
No, when I first started in 2013, when I first started going through divorce, there was one that we used just for a little bit. It wasn't Family Wizard. It wasn't something weird. So give me an example who our court actors are that we labeled on episode 2. Give me an example of two parents talking.
Sure.
Of what it would be kind of like this. So when people see that, yes, that they did do something wrong. What an example of Family Wizard.
Sure.
Would be a way for us to tell and report this.
So look here. This is Judge Conahan coming out of the family, or out of his indictment and out of his federal court after he'd been indicted, right? None of it could have worked without Judge Conahan. The Cash for Kids scandal in Pennsylvania was entirely reliant on his robe, his gavel, his courtroom, his discretion. Okay? And he just couldn't plead ignorance because all the evidence was there. But let's look at our friendly teleguardian headline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You see this person? They couldn't remote work. They couldn't sit back in their office and develop zero relationships with anybody, including their clients, without these applications. It wouldn't be possible. They'd have to drive places, schedule appointments, have conferences.
Right.
They'd have to do real work. So these people, their jobs only exist because of these portals.
Right.
Now let's look at our attorneys here. Here, we could take.
But how do we tell this in the thing?
We're doing it.
So you're saying that then, I'm trying to, so everyone understands this too.
Yeah.
I don't even understand it. So then you say this GAL did this, never saw them in person, never did this, talked through about with one Family Wizard, and then you write that down.
So basically, when I've showed you how to audit the bills, what you look for is the words talking parents or OFW in the bills. So
let's say, okay, so if the attorney emailed about the thing, if the attorney said you need to use this, why haven't you used this, or I'm billing you for I went and looked at it, that would be a part of what you put in.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
If you were having confidential communications, okay, with your significant other or anybody, I mean, if there was a text exchange, I could say, Meg, you dirty scoundrel, I want to eat your chickens and I want to make an omelet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And no one's Other than me and you, that doesn't cost any money, and we can get that out. All right? We can laugh about it. We can meet up later if we so choose. It's free. But these companies, these social media companies, because the communications are compromised, a whole team of people can bill on it, and that's when you can get the real criminals involved.
So how is it when a judge mandates it though? How does aren't they covered because the judge made them do it?
Well, let me show you this, okay? You take mom's attorney. This is dad's attorney, okay? We know Cersei Lannister and Robert Baratheon are a big hot mess, okay? We've seen the shows. They are up to a lot. Nevertheless, under our Constitution, they get a reasonably priced divorce, they get reasonably long divorce, and a reasonably non-vitriolic divorce. They get, in short, it can only cost so much, it can only take so long, it can only be so bad and be due process, even though they're hot messes. But that's where you find people like this, okay? Saul Goodman, he's a terribly unethical attorney. He commits crimes. Billy Flynn, he specializes in helping women who have murdered their husbands portray themselves as something else. That's where they take false information in these portal systems and pump it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pump up something that should be a 2 into a 3, okay? They build to email each other. They build to forward the communications to the psychologist, to the therapist, to the judge, okay? There's what occurred, and there's how bad it becomes because it starts floating around social media. And that's what the Attorney General of New Mexico tried to illustrate, is that social media is a tool that can be terribly misused, and social media companies have a vested financial interest in their products being misused.
Wow. Yeah.
If this didn't make anybody money, they wouldn't do it. Now,
That's insane.
let's talk about our good court-ordered psychologist.
Yeah.
Okay? Dr. Lecter has an absolutely pristine resume. Okay? Went to, I believe, Harvard, if I remember the books correctly, and had a thriving medical practice, had been published, had been considered top of his field. There's a reason that the FBI consults with Dr. Lecter. And so Dr. Lecter is going to review all these social media posts. In fact, Saul Goodman and Billy Flynn, they're relying on it. They're sending copies of the social media posts, the court-ordered social media posts, to Dr. Lecter, and Dr. Lecter is rendering opinions based on social media posts. And in order to refute Dr. Lecter's opinion, you have to hire a counter-expert to come in and look at the same social media posts and render an opposing opinion. And so what it does is it artificially inflates legal fees.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I go back to law enforcement. We introduced our friendly neighborhood law enforcement officer, right? There's no legacy organization dedicated to this type of legal fraud. Part of the reason that this can happen is because it's not like a long-standing gang unit that has its finger on the pulse.
Mm-hmm.
This is new. And so where you're going to find a disparity is law enforcement is going to miss initially. The law enforcement officers who choose to continue to miss are going to stand out to the ones who start to pick up that this is a brand new scheme, that these are brand new bad actors, that this is a brand new type of crime that they need to investigate.
My brain is just like going a mile a minute thinking about just in my own case.
Well, here's what I will tell you is that there's generally one story going on, okay? People all over the country are just hopping up and down mad. Both the people who won their case and the people who lost their case are united in the fact that it took too long, it cost too much, and it was way too much anger and division.
Yeah.
And that's something that the parties can agree on, is that nobody really won. So I'm going to take you back to our new virtual court. These are all arising out of judicial orders. Okay, the legislature didn't pass a mandatory law mandating patient or parent portals. These are judges using their discretion.
Okay, great.
So from an appellate standpoint, we need to be arguing abuse of judicial discretion, judicial error. We need to be looking for financial conflicts of interest. More importantly, if there are financial conflicts of interest, let's say we can prove a single penny went to a judge in any form or fashion from one of these things that resulted in a ruling, that district is going to face years of litigation. Because as I said, lawyers are cannibalistic. If we smell millions of dollars and a lawyer or a judge who has violated the law, then somebody will go after them.
So what if she is in court and all of a sudden the judge cancels her trial because she didn't pay GAL fees? Wouldn't that be classified as a violation?
I think there's a motion that they file. I want to say it's called a Staples motion. I could be wrong. But long story short, there's case law out there that says if a GAL is appointed and you don't pay them, then the court can retaliate by striking your answer.
Right. But it's like there's even people going to jail right now because they couldn't afford to pay the attorney fees.
Yeah.
And so how is that? I mean, you don't even go to jail for not paying your credit card, your bankruptcy, right?
So you raise a really interesting constitutional question. Okay?
Right.
How much of this is an unconstitutional detention?
Right.
You're being ordered to go into a portal system and log everything in a portal system, and you have people being ordered to go to these therapy companies and then being ordered to go to these supervision companies.
Right.
And they've committed no crime.
Right.
So that raises Eighth Amendment questions in my mind.
Correct. And there was a reel I just posted the other day that can literally take everything, look into every aspect of your life, even take your DNA.
Yeah.
And have all this when you haven't even committed one crime.
So family court has a lot of challenges, and that's why family court is so absolutely difficult to practice in. Okay? Let's talk about Cersei Lannister. Cersei Lannister, by all accounts, is a psychopath. I mean, she has murdered countless people, or had countless people murdered. Conspiracy to commit rape, that's something that she did. She cooperated with people to commit a horrific crime. The crimes that she has committed are terrible. And so from a family court perspective, she is a risk. They need to have the discretion, the tools at their disposal to protect the co-parent, the children, and society. Now, with that being said, Cersei gets due process. They've got to go through and...
But she didn't get due process.
She's got to get...
She had to pay the reunification therapist. Yeah. She had to pay another therapist. She had to go get psych evaluations. She had to get drug tests, hair tested, everything. And still did not get any trial.
So that can be a constitutional issue. Okay?
Correct.
Because in the Bill of Rights for nearly every single state that I'm aware of, I haven't read the Bill of Rights for every single state, but states have their own constitution.
Right.
I know Kansas, you have a constitutional right to a jury trial.
Right.
You have and federally you have a right to a trial. Okay? So these are constitutional questions.
Who watches over the Constitution?
Lawyers are supposed to.
But who makes sure it's happening?
Well, there's the problem. We have a system of checks and balances.
Don't we have an organization like the FBI or it's not the FBI, of course, but it would say monitor the Constitution.
So you have
a task force to make sure our agencies, our people are following the Constitution.
So there's several different avenues. Number one, hiring lawyers. All right, there's no way to combat a lawyer other than a lawyer. All right, but number two, there's bar associations for ethical issues. There's law enforcement agencies to investigate municipal, state, and federal crimes, and then there's the Court of Appeals. Now, what I find interesting is sometimes lawyers will not perfect things for the Court of Appeals because they don't want people to look into it. So, for instance, I'm kind of a hard charger in criminal court, okay? I will file a motion, and I will not generally hesitate to call attention to even the slightest, legitimate violation of my client's rights. I don't care what kind of crime my client is accused of. I will not hesitate to file a motion if I think that their constitutional rights are being violated. And what I'm seeing in some of the cases that are referred to me are people who are pulling punches. They're not filing motions. They're not perfecting objections at the trial court level. And what that does is that deprives the Court of Appeals from the ability to weigh in. So you go to the Court of Appeals and you say, this is terribly, unconstitutional what was done to me. And the Court of Appeals says, well, I'm sorry, but your trial lawyer did not raise that issue at the district court level. We can't do anything for you. Okay? So, from a appellate standpoint, you got to get it on file in the trial court. And if your lawyer is unwilling to file it, shop them.
Right. And I think that's one thing people don't realize. When you go to appellate court, they only look at what was filed in the lower court, in your family court. So if it wasn't filed in, then they can't look at it.
Right. But this is a good segue into what you really want to know. Okay? Meg, I want you to take a look at this. I made this especially for public dissemination.
Oh, yeah, you made this? Okay, so I don't know if you guys know what a memorandum is. And a memorandum is just like facts of the law, correct? It's like, Shawn?
I'm writing what the law is.
Writing it.
And that's my position, and I'm sticking to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So he wrote one about social media.
So look, Meg, here's what I want to talk about, all right? Wires. We've been talking over and over again about wires, wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, racketeering based on conspiracy to commit wire fraud.
Mm-hmm.
So much of the law is now based entirely on wires because of these virtual court orders. People's entire understanding of reality is based on whatever they saw on their smartphone last.
Right.
And what that does is it can make people believe things that are 100% bogus. And in some cases, lawyers bank on that. A legal memorandum is supposed to be a written document that counsels a person on the law. So many of these families have dumped $50,000, $100,000 into their cases, and what have they got for it? A series of text messages, calls, emails, and video conferences, and no written documentation explaining them what the law is, where the law stems from, where the law is going, and an opinion of the law. That's a legal memo.
Okay, so we are building, as Shawn's been teaching us, we are building up a way for you to learn the kit. It's called the Legal Federal Kit that we're putting together. And we haven't decided exactly how to do it, but Shawn and I are trying to work on a way for you to be able to take this information and put it with your own cases so you can write up your own complaint to file. And so this is another one. So now I have 1 and 2. And we haven't shared the other memorandum yet, but I did put together my federal complaint with his memorandum. And so this is a new one about the social media. And so subscribe. We'll start posting more. We're going to talk about it more on our live within our subscriptions within TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And then also we're still learning and generating a way for you guys to be able to do this yourselves. And also for us to be able to stay alive, because this costs a lot of money to keep this all alive. This is so exciting.
Now, you remember our presidentially declared emergency,
Yes.
okay? Well, this can trigger heightened repercussions for wire fraud,
Okay.
all right? And then also, November 16, 2020, our new virtual courts with our virtual lawyers and our virtual doctors and our virtual therapists, okay? This is a memo on how social media is being incorporated. So, social media is forms of electronic communication, such as websites, for social networking and microblogging, through which users create online communities to share information, ideas, personal messages, and other content such as videos. There is nothing in there about that information having to be public to meet the definition of social media. So, legal social media. Your lawyers are using social media. Clio, MyCase, Checkbox, Carrot, LexisNexis, Thomson Reuters. Whenever you log into your lawyer's social or legal case software to upload information, you're participating in legal social media. As we've learned, the stuff that floats around in social media, they're not verifying it's true or accurate. And what that means is it raises the risk of legal error, especially when you got people like Cersei and Robert Baratheon who are motivated to go at each other, and people like the attorneys in our case who are financially motivated to let them go after each other because it raises their own fees. Now, there's no evidence that these software companies are trying to detract or reduce legal fees. It's all about increasing legal fees. They're subscription services. Let's talk about tele-doctors. Everyone has passed telemedicine laws. And so now you could put information into the parenting app, and you could put information into your lawyer's social media database. And your lawyer can file information with the court's e-filing system and have a video conference based on all this. And a teledoctor can render an opinion based on all of that. Telecourt courts, legal social media. So the courts are using social media. Our e-filing systems are social media, okay? You have lawyers who are able to file from just about anywhere. They can log in, they can post information. Whether that information is true or accurate is subject to interpretation. Usually, we're there because somebody's filing false information, and we need a trial to sort it out. So the courts are operating social media. Let's talk about our teleprosecutors. Prosecutors' offices are using social media. You have remote working prosecutors. They're not in the office. Their paralegals are not in the office. Their assistants are not in the office. They have case management software, and they're not interacting with the police. They're just sitting back in their little apartment, looking at their email inbox, e-filing things based on people they don't know, things they don't know, things they haven't seen. Now let's talk about telesocial workers, DCF, Missouri's Children's Division. They're a mix of legal and medical social. So they're filing stuff in the e-filing for the courts. They're going to the courts' video conferences. They're participating in the Microsoft Meet things. But they're also interacting with telemedicine companies, these hospitals, these children's companies, okay? They're getting a mix of social media from law and from medicine. Wow. And then you have the telepolice, which is what it sounds like. Remote working police. They're not interviewing witnesses in person. They're not verifying facts. They're taking things at face value. They look at evidence.com and axon.com. They formulate an opinion. They make a few calls, and they file the case. Now, here's something interesting about Kansas. Kansas just passed a video preliminary hearing statute. And so now you can sit on your couch and you can provide probable cause for a felony in a video court, thanks to the new video law in Kansas. And then there's finally school social media. A lot of the stuff that's in our legal social media companies comes from school social media companies. things. So, your average parent, they go through the family court process, and now they have the login information for something like 15 different portals, a mixture of education, administrative, medical, and legal portals. And that's what drives up the legal fees. Because somebody, sometimes both parents, sometimes lawyers, sometimes doctors, is filing false information, and it is so much easier and faster to spread false information than it is to rebut false information.
Yep.
And so with that,
I'm no Mike.
thank you for watching.